If you're a homeowner in Houston, I know that you have concerns about flooding in the area. If you've ever wondered if your home is part of a flood zone, or you know your home is part of a flood zone and you want to know what you can do about it to mitigate the risk, stay tuned and I'll tell you more. Thanks for staying tuned. I'm Dierdre with the Real Haven Group, and today I'm going to talk to you about flooding in Houston. If you're even remotely familiar with Houston, you know that Houston has a tendency to flood. There have been some very big changes coming, partly as a result of the Hurricane Harvey inundation that resulted in areas that had never previously flooded in the Houston area flooding. So what does that mean for homeowners? Let's take a look. There were areas that were inundated as a result of Harvey that were not in the 500 or the 100-year floodplain. As a result, the federal government and the city of Houston are working together to redraw the floodplains. What's that going to mean? It's going to mean that the 100 and 500-year floodplains are going to be consolidated into a new 100-year floodplain. For those areas that had flooded as a result of Harvey only, that had never flooded before, those are now going to be rolled into a new 500-year floodplain. So if you weren't previously in a floodplain and you had any kind of water come onto your property or into your neighborhood as a result of the water that inundated the city of Houston after Harvey, you are more than likely going to end up in the new 500-year floodplain. If you were lucky enough not to have any water on your property, then you might be safe from the changes. But if you live in close proximity to a neighborhood or roads or an area that did flood, there is a chance that you too would be included in the new 500-year floodplain. So what can you do? What things do you need to know? Well, first you need to know if you're going to be included in that floodplain. The best and most reliable way to find out is to get access to a tool that will tell you that information. There are a number of maps that have very specific information related to the areas that flooded after Harvey. One of those is the Walter P. Moore site here in Houston. It's the flood elevation tool. You do have to have a membership to get onto their site. I happen to have a membership, so if you want to know if your property is included in one of the new floodplains or likely to be a new floodplain, you can call me. Why do you need to know this? Well, I think it's really important if you're a homeowner and you know you're going to be in a flood zone, or you know you're already in a flood zone. The likelihood is that you're going to have to make changes to your property to safeguard it and to mitigate risk going forward. Furthermore, by knowing if the floodplains are changing and you're going to be impacted by that, you can plan ahead so that you are budgeting properly, because guess what? Your insurance premiums are going up. If you've never had to pay flood insurance before and you're now newly incorporated into the 500-year floodplain, then obviously you're gonna be paying 100% more than you were paying before. But knowing ahead of time and planning accordingly so that you can budget is really important. For some people, depending on the floodplain, your premiums could go up as much as 4 times as much as they were before. The federal government currently underwrites the flood insurance program, and unfortunately, historically, they haven't been charging enough. Based on the sheer volume of claims that have come in the last 5 years, they are running at a deficit. So premiums have to go up. We know that this changing weather patterns are resulting in bigger storms and more flooding, so expect premiums to go up and be prepared for that. Another thing you could consider is moving. Houston still has plenty of areas that are not included in the flood zone. They didn't flood during Harvey, they haven't flooded since, so there are definitely areas in the Houston metropolitan space where you can go and not really have to worry about flooding, at least not for now. So if you want to look for a new home and you want to make sure you're looking at only homes that are outside of the floodplain, or if they are in a floodplain, because let me tell you, some of Houston's best neighborhoods are in the floodplain, and you don't want to eliminate a great neighborhood simply because it's in the floodplain. What you need to do is have an experienced realtor who can help you determine whether or not the home previously flooded. You want to be able to do that in advance before you waste your time. Having a professional realtor going through that for you and looking for properties that don't have any previous flooding or if they did have previous flooding, have since been either demolished and rebuilt, or had the foundation elevated and now they have an elevation certificate that shows that they are above the floodplain, so it's safe. So that was a lot of information about flooding in Houston, but if you want to learn more, give the Real Haven Group a call. We are happy to be of assistance. Call us at 281-858-3654 or PM us below, and we'll be happy to give you a call and discuss your situation and what your potential risks are and how maybe you can mitigate those risks. If you like what you've heard, please click below and subscribe. We'd love to have you as a new subscriber so we can see you again soon. Have a great day.